So focus on the impact. Technology है तो है, बहुत सारी technologies आए हैं, but how is it going to change finance, businesses, jobs, and the world around us? Okay, so for finance folks, you got to think about the benefits or the impact in three categories. There is an impact to finance itself, finance as a function, and for finance folks. There's an impact to the business whose finance function you are on, where the largest impact is, and there is an impact on you and the world around you as individuals. And I'm going to touch upon all three in that sequence. So first, this is coming from a Deloitte report. And while we might be thinking generative AI is new, it'll take its time, there are several that have already started. Morgan Stanley has a chatbot for researching data and products using generative AI. Global Bank for anti-money laundering. Now you're thinking AML का तो AI हमारे पास already है. That is true. But AML using generative AI is first more capable and it is a faster to deploy. And I'll come to that. It takes a fraction of the time that classic AI takes. ING have started using generative AI to identify risks. They are using it for risk management based on historical data. JP Morgan is using it to support product service and innovation and R&D. It's unimaginable, but generative AI can actually, I'll come to that, where tangible products it's being designed, but intangible products like financial products can also be designed by generative AI. And if we get the chance, when I'm doing a live demo of ChatGPT, we'll just ask it to design a financial product. We'll see what it does. Goldman Sachs, they remain in the forefront of using technology. They're using it for their software developers. And Bloomberg, for those of you who don't know, have launched some terminals that are integrated with generative AI. We're much more. It's into the next orbit of capability. Try it if you subscribe to Bloomberg, their generative AI version. So that's what is happening, and there are many more. There are many more financial institutions that are using it. Here is what CB Insights has to say of its impact to finance. First, conversational finance. So finance is all about numbers, but numbers have to be explained, numbers have to be summarized, numbers have to be analyzed, and it needs to be expressed in language. All of that can be done by using generative AI. So, for example, customers can chat with the bank. On one side, generative AI can talk to your core banking systems. On the other side, it can talk to what is called LLM for natural language, and it will just understand natural language and just have a conversation as if you are having a conversation with a human agent. It can do financial analysis. I'll show you a glimpse of that, how it does it. And very importantly, as I said, it can generate synthetic data. So the training data, which is always a challenge with training AI models, that reduces with generative AI. So this is a busy chart, but take a minute to understand. This is from a McKinsey report, and it is talking about which functions are going to get impacted, or where do generative AI responses are coming from. Marketing and sales has a huge impact. It's unimaginable how marketing and sales is going to change. And so would product and service development. These two, and I had said that at the beginning of the report also, beginning of the presentation also, and service operations. So you can think that 60 to 70% of the impact will come from the first three. And when I say product development, that also includes, believe it or not, designing jet engines. If it can design medicines, it does design jet engines. It did design the Airbus partition wall. And some of the use cases in marketing and sales and others. So the first three, which will cover 70% of the generative AI impact, they are mentioned there. Now, most technologies, all of the automations have always helped in increasing productivity and bringing efficiency to the business, right? And this is McKinsey's report on where do people see cost reduction. So greater than 20% in human resources, it's greater than 20%, 10 to 20%, and less than 10%. And this is the percentage of respondents that are saying that there will be a cost decrease. So as you can see, service operations is the biggest where people believe. Service operations is customer service. For a bank, almost after opening the CASA account, it's all servicing the account, right? The retail shops, everything is about servicing. Of course, you want to have assets, but a large part of banking is about servicing, right? For telecom, it is about servicing. So service operations will have a huge impact. So will supply chain, marketing and sales is the same thing being repeated. But the interesting thing is, can it help on the revenue side? And it does. It also helps on the revenue side. As I've said, the acronym, remember the acronym NEW CORE, new business models, cost reduction, operational excellence, risk mitigation, and customer experience. Here's another one. Effect of generative AI adoption on number of employees by business function in the next 3 years. Again, you will see service operations leading the pack. And this is the only place where people believe that actually the number of people employed is going to come down. Now you have to say, why only in service operations? Why not at other places? Because generative AI is going to lead to productivity increase. So your output is going to increase. The quality of your output is going to increase. But the effort is going to decrease, so you will focus on more value-added efforts, and it will create new job opportunities. One of the first jobs that it has created is prompt engineers. I don't know if you have heard of that name, prompt engineers, but there are courses for prompt engineering. ChatGPT you can learn how to use, but there is a way to prompt ChatGPT to get the best output. And that is called prompt engineering. And it's not only with ChatGPT, it's with any generative AI tools. I'll demo a few for you. But as you can see, it will, as I've said, unfortunately, like with every technology, there will be some job losses. If you imagine the number of people that would have been employed in the banking sector if you didn't have core banking systems, they would be huge. And people thought that with the technology coming in, with core banking system, there will be job losses. Of course, some jobs that existed went away, but many new jobs came in. And we absorbed that technology. So there was a gentleman who came during the break and said, what would happen to us? With generative AI, it is quite a dramatic impact. And some pieces of it is unpredictable. But we have been through these waves of technology innovation before. This is Deloitte saying what it can do for finance, right? First, its best use is anomaly detection. And almost all of AI, not almost, a large part of AI is about anomaly detection. This is okay, this is not okay. Same time, same transaction, same customer, from this merchant is okay, but from another merchant is not okay, right? So anomaly detection becomes a huge, and generative AI is very, very good at it. Tax function, I'll show you one company that is already using it for giving advisory on tax by country, which is quite complicated, especially for a company that operates, a business that operates across countries. Investor relations, communication will take a leap. My communication has taken a leap after ChatGPT. None of my emails and none of my social media posts are non-generative AI. Everything goes from generative AI. Even if I have to write a 2-line email, yes, I take help from ChatGPT, and I'll show you how. And it does a good job. Why should I not use it? I'm subscribed to it, and it is giving me, it's improving my quality of output. I have more likes and views on my social media handles than I've ever had before. And thanks to ChatGPT and thanks to generative AI. I'll show you some of the images that it does create. It can do prediction modeling, so you can use it for your strategy. As I said, you can use it for product development too. The second one here is pretty much what we call digitization or automation. So I'm not going to talk about that. And I'll talk about controllership. Just remind me during demo that, Ekhlaque, you said something about controllership. So I'll show you what it can do there, right? So as I said, I'll show you something that has been done on the tax side. So KPMG, leaning on generative AI, helps corporate tax departments prepare for new requirements to disclose their tax obligations by country. And these are just one of the use cases in KPMG. They have decided to invest $2 billion. And they expect to reap $12 billion from it. This publicly published. I don't have insight. I do have insiders in KPMG, but I didn't need to go to that. All of the big four, Bain, McKinsey, they have seen what is coming. This is the best way to understand this is somebody is talking to you in 1998, 2000 about internet. Go back and think about what internet was to us and to businesses in 2000. And remember in 2000 what happened? There was a dot-com boom, right? And so it was at the hype. So would you say just because there was a dot-com boom, I'm not going to care about internet? Almost all companies have websites. Many e-commerce companies exist. Several businesses have started online channels, online products. Internet, smartphone is possible because of the internet. Your Gmail, many things are possible only because of internet today. And generative AI is going to have a similar impact, but faster than internet did. And look at some of the related stories. Okay, generative AI has obstacles, but KPMG to invest in generative AI, artificial intelligence, firm-wide, and PwC stakes $1 billion into generative AI. And these are all 2023 articles. They are not like, and this is the speed with which generative AI is coming to fore. Now, banks see the potential value of generative AI across many areas. They think, yaar, generative AI, marketing, sales, image bana liya, language bana liya. But there isn't going to be a function that is going to remain untouched from generative AI. No function. Because tell me a function that does not use language. Right? As long as you're using language, as long as you're using unstructured data, and the more language you use, the more impact generative AI is going to have, and the more analysis you use. And this is from AI Multiple. Look at the number of use cases these guys have come up with, right? Front office, conversational finance. I love this one. Generating an applicant-friendly denial explanations. I'll demo that. What ChatGPT, how would you deny an application versus how ChatGPT would suggest you deny an application? It will, I also do only CIO recruitment, and I have to send regret messages to some of the candidates who have applied and did not get through the role. And I use ChatGPT, and it genuinely brings out, because I do feel for the candidates. I've been through the hiring cycle myself. So I know what it is to get an email that says that, okay, somebody else has been selected. So land it softly and land it humanly. And that's what ChatGPT can do. I'm only talking ChatGPT, but there are many. There's copy.ai. I'll show you some other applications also. Huge impact on back office. Huge impact on back office. Automation of accounting functions, legacy software maintenance. I'll come to software. And when I come to software, I'll talk about software. There is an irony on the impact on software. Okay, and it's huge. If you guys have a large IT team and a large software development team, generative AI is going to bring tremendous efficiency to that. If you have legacy software, generative AI is going to bring ability and efficiency. things that you could not do earlier. And remind me about Y2K when I talk about software, impact on software. Document analysis, I will show you a live demo. Financial analysis and forecasting, financial report generation, synthetic data generation, and then of course risk management, fraud detection, responding to regulators. See, when you respond to a regulator, your language must be absolutely, like you got to check it from all angles. And some of the generative AI tools, you can train them to respond to regulators. You'll still need to do 5% of work, but 95% of the work will be done by generative AI. And portfolio and risk management, again, as I've said, classic AI helps, but generative AI is faster. Generative AI is faster than classic AI. So after having spoken about finance, let me talk about enterprises and the businesses at large. First thing one has to understand is that generative AI will impact AI itself first. Okay? So the AI adoption, as I said, I don't know how many AI models do you have deployed in your business? Anybody who's a leader in AI model deployment or usage of AI in their business? 1, 2, 3, 4. But generative AI, you don't need to annotate the data, you don't need to label the data. So when you don't need to annotate and label the data, and you can generate synthetic data, the training of the AI model is fast, and therefore generative AI is going to be adopted much faster than classic AI, because it's not going to follow the 9 months, 12-month cycle that it takes to deploy a truly great AI model. This is my slide on how AI impacted these different departments before the advent of generative AI and what it's going to do. What do you notice here? Anything stands out? Relatively, yes. But the medium impact for finance is going to be huge. Right? It's just that marketing, sales, and IT are just going to be blown apart by this. And that is why it's relatively medium. But what stands out here? Anything that stands out? Look at this chart. IT, look at IT. Tell me an AI use case in IT before generative AI. So, AI is a tech capability, but AI was not used for tech itself. Have you heard of AI used in IT? You have heard of AI used in business. You're using IT, you're using AI, but you're not using AI for IT. And that's going to change completely. That's why I've quit being a CIO. No. And this I'm working on because I'm doing some research on various industries and how it's going. And this is an ever evolving. But I can tell you, healthcare, education. You can just ask ChatGPT to design a question paper. You can ask ChatGPT to assess a question paper. I'll mark the question paper. So the teachers who spend a lot of time designing quiz, tests, and assessing and correcting papers, all of that time is gone. Now they can focus on creating training material, and even there, generative AI is going to help. So education is going to change, healthcare is going to change, retail. I'll show you some examples of how retail is changing. I have done a lot of workshops with marketing agencies. With one agency, and I'll show you some bit of the part of the workshop that we did. We reduced their 7 days of work into 4 hours. 7 days of work into 4 hours. So what they used to do, so they were into celebrity management in Bombay. And so for a particular celebrity like Amitabh Bachchan, they would go and pitch Amitabh Bachchan to different brands, and they have to manage Amitabh Bachchan's social media handle. Amitabh Bachchan is an example. Amitabh Bachchan is not their client. So they had to. So let's say they are going to pitch to a telecom company that Amitabh Bachchan should become an advertiser for Airtel. They had to do category research, then they had to do brand research, then they had to do brand persona, then they had to do celebrity persona, then they had to match those 2 personas, and then create a PPT, then go to the brand to make that pitch. And this took them 7 days, understandably so. Think about it, trying to understand the telecom industry and its growth and its trends and its insights. And you can do it in minutes. You can do it in minutes using plugins in ChatGPT. So marketing agency is big. I'll show you examples of how it is helping in product development, research, information technology, my God. Y2K were to happen now. And let's say during Y2K, the entire world spent 10 billion. With generative AI, it would have been less than 1 billion. Because generative AI can write code. And you have to train generative AI to find where the dates are and to correct that and to test that code. All of that generative AI can do. You can train generative AI in doing. And it's repetitive. So there's 1/10 of the effort would have gone into correcting Y2K. That's the impact to software development. You can actually make chatbots without knowing how to code. That is what has come with the release of GPT-4. Shopify is using generative AI to get product descriptions. So merchants, they struggle. The merchants put their products, but they don't know how to describe it to entice customers. Even if they know, they don't know how to translate it. So generative AI is helping them to get product descriptions and to translate it into multiple languages. And Shopify has made that available to their merchants. L'Oreal, and this is the impact to retail. You can take your mobile phone and the L'Oreal app, you can point to any shade of the lipstick and it'll tell you how that lipstick will look on you. I know Lenskart has been doing it with spectacles and glasses. But imagine doing this for all garments, imagine doing it for lipstick, and for anything that is in retail, and how it will actually look, a furniture will look in your living room. There are some rudimentary capabilities out there with generative AI. It's game-changing, what it can do. Accenture is helping its client create roadmaps and strategies. They've made a bot, they've trained a bot available to their clients for this. 3M is using it to design new products. And 3M is known for innovation. What great products they have. Right? The Post-it being one of the things that we know most about. But they have many products, especially in healthcare. There's just an infinite number of 3M products that are used in healthcare. As I told you, Rolls-Royce is using generative AI to design new aircraft engines. Now you would say, how can generative AI help in designing new aircraft engines? See, the thing is, aircraft design, I'm an engineer, I'm a manufacturing engineer. Jet engines, oil turbines, any of these are a game of optimization, right? So a blade can be designed like this, and how much fuel it would consume and at what rate it will push the fluid. So there is only limited ability for humans to design like 10 different ways and then try and calculate what it is going to do in terms of fuel efficiency and the thrust. But generative AI, first of all, it has 1 billion parameters to make adjustments to, and it can generate millions of options. And then it will run the millions of options through simulation and then come up with this is the most optimal one. That is how it helps with design. And its capability to design is a few notches higher than. You can't do it without humans. None of this is possible without humans. None of the generative AI use cases are autonomous. They all require human to complement it. I have not made that clear during my presentation, but I want to make that clear now. Anything that I've shown, anything that I've spoken about cannot be done autonomously. It requires human. And only a combination of human and generative AI gets you the best output. Only generative AI? Perhaps not. NVIDIA is using it to speed up drug discovery. I've already given you an example of Extensia. Expedia is using it for travel. In fact, I met one person. I told him I was going for a generative AI masterclass. He said, do you know what? I said, what? He said, ChatGPT made my trip to Mussoorie amazing. I said, how? I said, I just asked ChatGPT, what should I do in Mussoorie? It gave me a list of 7 things. I did those 7 things and they were awesome. Now I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going to ask ChatGPT what to do there. Right? And Expedia is leveraging that Try. Just ask ChatGPT, even 3.5, the free version. You will be surprised. Just ask it what the things to do in Bombay. It'll come up with, maybe we can try that during the demo. And Stripe, anybody knows who's Stripe? Stripe is the international payment gateway. It's like Swift is to Neft, Stripe is to Paytm and Razorpay kind. And they're using it for documentation of the software. My God, how much do they depend on technology? Now I'll come to its impact on us, right? As I've told you, my efficiency, productivity, quality of output has gone up a few notches because of generative AI. I'll show a live demo of that. But here is the interesting thing. Sorry for those who ignore. Just look at the India numbers, okay? Before you look at the India numbers, what is this about? It is about generative AI's impact on what kind of salaried people it will have an impact on. We think technology usually impacts the lesser privileged strata of the economy, right? Which has happened with most of the technology. So you see the physical labor has gone down a lot. Robotics have replaced it. But if you look at the wage quintiles of 80 to 100, 61 to 80, look at where the maximum impact is. High paid, highly educated job categories. That's where the impact is. And which is a bit different from Mexico, South Africa and China, where the richest or the people earning the most are going to get impacted the most. But it's not that India mein wo impact nahi hoga. Even 80 to 100, you can see the impact going from here to here. That's quite significant in terms of how it's going to change the lives of people. I'll just give you a moment to absorb this chart because it has many things. It has those wage quantities, then it has where would you be without generative AI, then where would you be with generative AI, and then it has largest increase in automation that it has done with generative AI, and without generative AI, where would automation impact? So everywhere you will see the white bar is to the right of this blue bar. That means automation outside of generative AI impacts the lower wage workers more. Generative AI impacts the highly paid, the higher wage workers. Now, when I did this, I always thought about, of course, how much the ability to replace and how many tasks automation can generative AI do. But I also realized it is not only about how much efficiency and how much replacement it can bring. It is the ability to improve what you do also, right? So there will be many things where the improvement will be very high, and I'll show you how. But it may not replace humans. It's just the quality of output is going to improve. And that is where majority of the impact is going to be. Some jobs like data entry, copywriting, telemarketing, customer servicing, they're going to see a huge decrease in the workforce or the number of people who are doing those roles. Now, people doing these roles are not going to decrease significantly, but their life is going to change significantly. Because what they do, like the teacher, is going to spend more time teaching rather than creating tests and assessing papers. Their efficiency is going to increase. You will be radiologists. My younger brother is a radiologist, he's a doctor. Now radiologists don't carry that thing, and my parents are upset that he decided to be a radiologist and he doesn't sit in the clinic looking at patients. But he took radiology because the number of radiologists in any country is minimal. That's the least. And therefore the wage demands are high. That is why getting an X-ray report or an MRI report can take days or hours, and for the poor people even more so. And generative AI is going to change the game. It's going to make it more affordable and faster to get all of those reports. And there are certain things like physical labor, surgery, farming, not impacted by generative AI as much. Although farming, all of it is going to get impacted, but relatively it will be less. So these people need to adapt. We need to upskill, and these job categories need to reskill. The time is not now that you, abhi kal se or to get, but prepare. If your friends, family are on these job functions, then prepare. How can I take a job that is coming with generative AI, prompt engineering being one of them. And the good thing about generative AI is it does not require sophisticated skills. It does not require sophisticated skills. So again, in terms of industry, like Genpact is largely into BPO, right? They are going to have a huge impact with generative AI. And that is why they're the first of the blocks to try to adopt generative AI. These industries need to be fast followers, these need to be quick to adopt, and well, these industries will be do or die. I'll tell you what, 1 year down the line, if a marketing agency is not using generative AI, it will be behind marketing agencies that are using generative AI. 100%, 100%, guaranteed. Now, I just wanted to, after making all this noise about generative AI, I also want us to understand that there are several risks associated with it. I started with those risks. Okay, so you see, media and entertainment generates videos. You will go to YouTube and you ask AI news channel. There's a news channel that runs automatically using generative AI. That is one autonomous thing, right? So creating videos, understanding videos, creating media, anything that is unstructured, any industry that deals with unstructured images, video, audio is going to get impacted big time. So there are people who take the information from reporters and write an article, right? Whatever reporters are getting reporting from the in-ground, the article can be written by generative AI. So there is huge impact on media and entertainment. Software engineering I have spoken about, customer servicing I have spoken about. So I was talking about some of the risks. This is highlighted in the Deloitte report, hallucination, as you can see. Hidden bias. Okay, so if you tell Midjourney to create, Midjourney is an image generation tool. I'll show you a demo of that. If you tell Midjourney to create a photo of Shahid Kapoor, it won't be able to. But if you ask it to create an image of Keanu Reeves, it will be able to. Because Midjourney has been trained in a lot of data from West. Okay? It will get Shah Rukh Khan because even in the West, there's a lot of images of Shah Rukh Khan. So it has been trained on a lot of data on white people. That is why its ability to recognize emotions and expressions on faces, colored faces, is limited. So it has hidden bias because it will only do all the data that it is trained on. A very simple thing, try to get ChatGPT to generate a conversational, very easy, जैसे friend से बात करते हैं ना, वैसा वाला language. It will not be able to. It will always generate language that is professional because all of the internet is filled with professional language, right? A chat between husband and wife does not appear on the internet, not to the extent that blogs and articles do. And so I'll not go into that. Okay, opaque logic. So if RBI were to ask you why a credit score, how did you arrive at? Explainability is going to be difficult in case of generative AI. Security is huge. Now, itna bol liya, bata bhai kya kare, right? What should we do? And this is a suggestion for all of you. First thing is to become aware. Like today's session is just awareness. I've really not done any masterclass. I've just made you aware of this, let's say, a meteor that is coming towards Earth. And there's a way to work around that meteor, but you got to know that there is a meteor that is coming towards Earth, right? One of the first things to do is to have a draft AI policy. You don't have to get it 100% right. You don't know what you're dealing with, but have an AI policy. And there are lawyers who are doing this. Then go to awareness of your senior mid-management. Then have some AI policy and some framework and workshop to come up with a few use cases for generative AI. And then do a low or a medium effort POC. low and medium risk, low or medium effort. Don't go for the moonshot as the first POC for generative AI. Right? Do one POC, and that might take you 3 months, that might take you 6 months. But you will be able to do it. There are many companies doing these POCs. You can look at the POC implementation and results, and that is the time that you can review. You don't have to take my word for it. And you can't decide everything today. You just cannot decide everything today. You have to go through the grind. You have to experience it to know what you want to do with it. Then after that, go for the next 2 use cases, then use case implementation, and again review. Right? And this is a journey of the next 16 to 18 months. And this is what Goldman Sachs has to say. We are going beyond the hype, and it is poised to go from excitement to deployment in 2024. So it is foundational, it is transformational. Start small and start now. The question is, now this is an image generated by generative AI. I'll show you the prompt behind this. Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? Right? So there is hype. There are roadblocks, many. Try implementing a use case. Regulations, risks, and are the benefits proven in some cases, but really not a lot, kind of like big data. But it is also true that it is foundational. Foundational means it will have wide-ranging impact to daily lives, to family life, to personal life, to professional life, to all industries, all aspects of life. So it's a foundational technology like internet. Right? There are already many early adopters of this technology. It is not being spoken about in air. I've shown you at least perhaps 15 enterprise use cases. Estimates are anywhere between 4 trillion to 10 trillion of value unlocked. And there are big bets by big tech companies and consultants. Right? This is also true. So despite all of that, what should you do? Just stick to this framework of creating a new core. Because generative AI has the ability to do it. You have to find the way and the path to get there. You can create new business models, you can reduce your cost, you can improve your business KPIs, you can mitigate your risks, and you can improve customer experience significantly using generative AI. It's the internet of 2000s. Start small, but start now. Now, I am... Okay, I'll use that towards the end. Can we switch to my computer, please? And I'd really like for us to have an interaction because I'm live on ChatGPT right now, and you can pretty much ask anything, really anything. I've tried to get it to do a few things so that I can show you some of its capabilities. All right, so let's go to, this is a ChatGPT screen, okay? And just during, when I landed in Bombay and I was here earlier, I said, what can I demo? So I downloaded some financial statements. I was wondering which company. So I downloaded Jubilant Foodworks, which was my last employer. And I gave it to ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT said that this is too many pages. I don't know where the financial statement is. So what I did was, I took a screenshot from the financial statement. This is the screenshot I took. Okay, just the image. And then I gave that image to ChatGPT. Imagine reading from this document and getting it into, so it extracted all of the information this way. And they say, ye kya bakwas hai yaar, give it to me in a tabular format. So it gave it to me in a tabular format. Right. Then here the calculated key financial ratios, which it did. Okay. Then it had gone, taken a break in between. Then I said, you calculated some key financial ratios. Please give me an executive summary of the same. Now it is saying the company maintained relatively consistent gross margins, FY20 and 21 show anomalies. FY21 in particular displaying an exceptionally high gross margin, which is likely due to an error on an extraordinary item and should be verified. Right? So, and it is going, operating margin decreases in FY23, suggesting potential increase in operating costs. We know where inflation is. No business has remained unimpacted from that. Net profit margin, the same thing. Return on assets. So this is, I wanted to show you, and it can analyze any annual report. Now, I spoke to you about controllership, right? So let me, and this is how you work with ChatGPT. First, you tell ChatGPT that you are an internal audit consultant. Please tell me all risks associated with the, let's say, payroll process. What did you think of the risks that it identified for the payroll process? Was it in line with what you would expect? Okay. It'll come up with the controls. Then you can tell him, give me how to test the controls. It'll come up with how you can test the controls. So it gives you the risks, the controls, and the way to test the controls. The job of the internal auditor becomes much easier. And one of the jobs that you have to do as an internal audit function is consume huge amounts of data and get insights from it. And if you remember the molecule that was gotten from so many biomedical researches, it didn't matter which language, or what it was, generative AI has the ability to do that. It can consume various formats of information and generate insights from there. So while it is doing it, let me show you some of its image generation capabilities. Okay. Especially when US wakes up, it becomes very, very slow. I don't know what time it is EST. So these are the controls, employee data access controls, ensure only data privacy, so on and so forth. Please share how we can test these controls. And while it does that, I'll come back to it. This is a tool called Midjourney. And I was generating some images to put for the form for registration. So you can see I said, give me a photorealistic image for a webinar registration form for a masterclass on generative AI. It's a free masterclass for digital marketers, social media managers. It's just text. And I have said, this is the aspect ratio that I want it in. And this is what it generated. So you can have a look at this, right? But of course, he is not me. So I converted that into me. This is how. So there is an ability called face swap. So you can take any image and you can keep swapping the face in that image to any face that you want. This Midjourney allows. These are some of the, so I told you, like I go to ChatGPT and say, I'm new to ChatGPT, tell me what to do. So I told Midjourney, do what you want, just do it colorfully. And this is what it came up with, right? So then I tried different artist styles. Sorry. So this is do what you want artistically, creatively, and colorfully, and this is what it came up with. Amazing photos it can come up with. Then this is the Madhubani style. Do what you want as long as it is Madhubani style. Do what you want as long as it is Gond style. So this is what it came up with. This is another style of an artist. You see what is going to happen to content creators and people who are into art generation, right? And then I said, give me an emoji for loss, because India had lost the World Cup. The third emoji here is awesome. I like that. I don't know why this didn't come up. I look at this, an image representing the impact of generative AI in the economy and the world, right? Look at the images that it generated. And then, as I said, glass half full. I asked it to change the aspect ratio, and this is where the glass got generated from. I'll go back to ChatGPT, and it's still doing the controls, right? Also, any of the proposals that I send, this is a video script, sorry. So I look at this. Please refine the following test. These skill maps are customized based on role, industry, seniority, client requirements. At X.O, we do not believe in one-size-fits-all approach. So I gave it this. Here is the refined text from it. Look at the refined text from there. It can do this for your emails, because you see I have a chat that is going on specifically for emails. So I wrote I was supposed to respond with a proposal. So I said, I have received this email from World Fashion Exchange. We intend to have an insightful, informative masterclass. And this was my draft reply. My masterclasses are tailored. I like a call with your CEO to understand. And then this is how it drafted it. I'm enthusiastic about tailoring my masterclass to align, to ensure my presentation is as impactful and relevant. I'd like to have a conversation with Mr. Jatin Paul. And this is the email that I actually ended up sending. And I can show you many more of how you can upload annual reports. You can ask whatever questions you want. It gives, sometimes it hallucinates, but it gives some very interesting answers, including which wedding you should go to. So with that, I come to an end. I'll take any questions if you have, but thank you very much for being so patient. Really appreciate it.